How did that work? Am I live now? I cannot tell. Sad music. Let's see. Ah, word. Hi. I haven't finished the video for today. So, it will come out Wednesday. 2 videos, in fact. Or maybe 3. All about heads and facial proportions, the planes of the face, shadings of the face, different facial structures and features. And then on Saturday, we'll recommence with hair. So right now, I'm building the gap in between and filling it with my previous work. My first stories on webtoons. Because after my life started here, I guess we could go to fine arts for the background of me, which I've never conveyed on this channel. Let's see, the start of a long journey. This one, hiya, yada. Nope, it is not this one. Haha, this chapter is pretty much a bio about me. I was born a crack baby, assumably. Okay, I don't know why I got. I guess, I don't know. I pride myself on being an open book. I grew up very fake. Oof. And now I'm, as our dog, never out. I should put that in here. Never be outwardly fake again. But I did end up dropping out of college. College is expensive. I wanted a biomedical engineering degree. Man, I think I got 3 years into a 6-year program. It was quite the roll. Oh wow, this is like, when did I post this? So many promises in this chapter that are unfulfilled. Some high school drawings I did, fan fiction of a character I made for my head canon inside Kingdom Hearts. I made Sora go to all the anime universes instead of Disney universes. So I would have Sora fight Gaara and like all these other things were going on. But I don't know, I did that with most stories I encountered as a kid, especially codename Kids Next Door. And I liked swords and things with wings. And Betting on a New World will be the next comic after Color Wars. That one's probably going to take me like 5 years to complete. I don't know. It's a pretty hefty story. It's going to be like very anti-meta, but also very meta, because it's like very inclusionary. The premise is gods from around the world select their chosen champions by way of either boredom, randomness, or they actually have like a goal in mind in seeking specific people. And I don't want to give away too many details, but like they destroy all the other people, and then they're all like, we rebuild the world and put them on it and try to let them survive, see if they thrive. And whoever bets on the last human to be alive wins the game. And that's why it's called Betting on a New World. No idea when it will be named differently or anything. It won't. That's a solid name. I'm keeping that. This year I'm looking into legality for copyrights and stuff, but The Scaled Exiled, upcoming book. Yes. That's going to be a part of a really long series I've been writing for 2023. It's been over 10 years now since I've been writing the Scaled Exile story. It's turned into the Tales of Solarwind, and this character right here is going from like a white guy to a black guy, and I find that hilarious. And like character design, like that was unintentional too. I just redesigned the character and forgot that I had already came up with him when I was a teenager. It was very interesting. Nendo, I probably can't make for quite some time because it's very political and very anti-hero. If like a super villain actually won, and imagine Thanos, but like very person to person. I don't know, he's just worse than all of them. Pretty fun character though. Don't know when I'll be able to explore that more. But moving on. Before I made this, actually, I made this to, practice art, and specifically made to improve my art skills for future projects. I was doing almost all my projects in concept art and character design in here. And then after all that, after these 15 weeks, I'll be making a What If style side series where I can practice critical thinking about what if things and, just practice making a comic in general and different layouts and stuff. But that's in the future. That's like after May. For now, I want to showcase the journey of drawing heads, since this is the week of drawing heads these next 2 weeks. It started out looking rough. It's because I didn't understand digital line weights, and like you should probably make thicker lines, or at least clear lines for the final, showing. I got it more around this area. So it's a real strong showcasing of my progress. And a lot of these faces you might see in like a book called How to Draw Manga, because I was just looking at that book and drawing the faces from there. And then the same kind of prompt, draw a character from youth to teenage to adult. Highly suggest those types of exercises as well. Because the hardest thing for me was keeping some characters on model at the end of it. We'll reach that point. But as you see, I started with very anime style and moved into more comic bookish. And even here, I tried practicing drawing a lot of the same faces, like this bald guy reoccurs, this chick right here. I kind of messed up a lot on the eyes. I wanted to make the same style of eyes, and that's how I want to identify a lot of my characters moving forward, because eyes are the most important to me in my character design. They will carry the most of the emotion. They do for a lot of peppers. But we don't have to go through the whole, how many chapters did I even make of faces. You can go through it on your own, but I did make a gigantic recap. The only chapter I accidentally missed was feet. So if you want to look at the chapter about feet, here's that. But we'll get to feet in like a few weeks. And I'll be drawing much better feet. Right. Really, all these chapters are just me practicing line art, because my goal is to make like manga style comic. There's illustrators, then there's colorists. Colors have always ruined my drawings. I'm trying to get over that. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 chapters of heads. And only the last one involves hair. Not even colored, just the outline too. Some of these were just straight up taken from Bleach. But in the full recap, this is just a full recap, but it's a really big chapter from when I was really bad to subpar to, we're getting somewhere, to, it looks like an actual kind of style. And then it just keeps going, and I just keep practicing more styles, different things. This was the practices from Mark Burnett. That's why it looks kind of like his style. I kind of like his style though. Except for how we draw eyes. We draw eyes differently. and I'm still developing my own thing for Color Wars. That's the point of these next 2 weeks, is to finalize how I draw faces. Right now I'm drawing realism to dial it down into something more specific. At first, when I got to this level of skill of drawing faces, I was like, ooh, not bad. And then the call to action post came for Webtoon, and I was like, ooh, I can make a comic. That was by far the hardest thing I've drawn so far. Staying on model for those characters, poof, awful. And since we're out of heads now, I drew hundreds of hands. Hands were so hard, and I really just did not want to struggle with hands anymore. And if you're wondering why 90% of them are left hands, because I just looked at my own hand and drew it. That's the easiest reference, the fastest reference, and it's literally right in front of my eyes, so I could get all the angles. But we'll get a lot more into depth with these in coming weeks. We're supposed to be focused on faces, which I did on the facial when I did the second recommencement. I've restarted the process. This is the third time and the last time, because I've gained the self-discipline, the one key you need to succeed in life. It's the ability to do what you want to do, whether you feel up to it, whether you're capable, incapable. It is not what you think or what you could do. It is what you do. You try, but there is no try. There is only do and do not. No coulda, shoulda, woulda over here. So as you see, it was just straight practice, and then I went to color again after a long time of not coloring things and just coloring doodles. It didn't come out bad, and I was like, oh, not bad. This is the recommencement. But before we go here, let me show you the thing I was talking about that I struggled with the most. Days in the Void. Probably the best showcasing of my arts in a comic out yet, or now. I struggled greatly with the architecture. Never, ever work on architecture last on a piece. You figure that out first and foremost. That is the hardest thing I have ever done in any artwork ever, to this day. I destroyed and just deleted like 60% of the backgrounds to this comic because they were just awful. I don't know why I thought it would be so easy to just learn how to draw people, and then the backgrounds would figure themselves out. And it's just drawing lines, architecture, rulers and shit. How hard could it be? Very, very hard. But I'm not gonna show you or read this whole comic to you. Just know I tried to add comedy and humor to it, I tried to give everybody explanations of power systems without explaining the power system. But I'm not sure if I did a good job. They talk about the magic system. We don't explain the magic system. But there's a small showcasing of it. This guy can teleport. This guy is a chicken man with a gun. And then I drew this incredibly too small in the finalness, because he's staff, run. Oh no, I'm gonna try to animate some of these fight scenes, because the comic, not the best job. And then on half the I messed up the layers on the export and had them all over the place. And now they look like this. It's just no goo. It's no goo. And so, as you see, there's a lot of humor here. This guy. Oh wait, the build up. So the main character, Void, he uses, or the Void rather, he uses portals, as you see. So. As you see, my humor is quite childish. But if you were taking a dump and someone just, you know, came in through a portal, what would you do? But anyway, I tried to make the fight scenes pretty unique to something I haven't seen. Like, wow, this zoom really does not want to work with me. Okay, so I feel like explaining it ruins kind of the point of reading it, because it doesn't have words. But like, if it's not clear, he can open portals anywhere to anywhere he wants, of any size. Originally, he was going to open a really small portal and just destroy the entire dock with like a water jet beam, but that was too difficult to draw at the time. So we ended up with this, where the entire background fades away for this sword attack, and then forevermore. But the Void's main thing is dodge. He doesn't really care if you attack him, because he already knows that he is very, very OP. I also kind of like the sequence right here, where he breaks sword off. It's supposed to be being blocked by the portal, which is purple, but I'm not sure if that's clear enough because I rushed the painting and line art of this last fight a lot. As you'll see, I rushed the last of this very much a very rushed job here, because I submitted it to the call of action thing with like 20 minutes left, which is weird to me. I submitted it so late, I thought, but I was still like page 4. I forgot it was a contest for a second. I was like, oh, dang, everybody wants to be on the last page, so that's the first page everyone sees. Makes sense. I could have fixed up some things here. But you see, there was lightning magic alluded to earlier, and this guy is well, clearly using some type of thing. I'm not quite sure if it's clear that it's electricity, but or lightning rather, like the Zeus's thunderbolt. Then the face reveal. Yeah, that's enough of that. Whoa. Completely forgot to color that. Or. Yeah. Just yep, just complete unfinishedness. It just gets worse and worse as it goes down. Everything's just so incomplete. I do kind of like this last sequence too. I think for the Phyyn Collection animation compilation for the 365, some of these fight scenes are just going to be the Void bodying people in this type of way, you know, where people run up to him, try to attack him, miss. They try to stop on his feet, still miss. And he has, portals. I also kind of like this panel. Let's zoom in a little bit, because everything here is kind of watercolory. I was going off of the Studio Ghibli book, and I was just going to make this whole sequence technically in story. If you read the actual comic, it's a flashback, which is my explanation to why it looks so shitty. in colorization and line art, and rushed backgrounds and everything. Wow. Wow, computer, you're just all over the place, huh? I didn't know how long this comic was, but it just fast forwarded to a bunch. This is way further on, but you'll see what I mean about it. Just keeps getting like worse and worse. Like there's no, I try to rationalize it here honestly, but because he's been after this book, Burr X Hun, Tower of the One Dragon Piece. It's just a compilation of names from animes that have notoriously gone on long hiatus and are just longevitous. Burr for Berserk, X Hun, Hunter X Hunter, of course, Tower. I'm not even sure how long that hiatus was, but it's over now. And the notorious Dragon One Piece. Yes. I think there was another collab that I haven't seen between Goku, Luffy, and some other characters. Maybe, I think it was Toruko, but there was I think it was Yusuke Urameshi there too, from jeez. I can remember the entire story with the spirit gun's ancestor, but what is the show? Yu Yu Hakusho. Wow. How did I forget? I'm not even sure if this stream is appealing, but I hope someone likes and is following along the fight scene here, because I have not explained it, but it's happened. It just... I didn't have time to finish this. I'm just being honest. I procrastinated so heavy until the last minute, and I was like, why did I save the hardest thing for last? The whole background of everything. I was just like, why? Why did I do this to myself? Never again will I make the same mistakes. Which is why I gave myself these 15 weeks to develop the first season of Color Wars, which I've already been, writing for like 3 years, so I think I got the writing part down. But back to the other arts. As you see, I make a lot of chapters. My problem may be I'm a bit too creative. I have about over 1 million, well, way over 1 million words, I'd say, written down within these files. There's the That Noise book, Afterlife Before Death, Tales of a Soul's End. That's a book series about the afterlife, and a nice psychological theory I came up with as a kid. I was like, there's radio waves and Wi-Fi signals and all this electricity in the air that people can't perceive, but electricity is in every human being and inside every living creature. It's what moves our muscles, powers our brains. What if there's just a level of Wi-Fi, the soul Wi-Fi? That's what the plane is with the ghost and beings, and that's what our emotions are tied to. And that's why psychology is so fascinating and things like that. I made an entire book series based off that concept and whatnot. The first book in that series is called My House, based on a guy who dies and gets his soul tethered to his own house. How it's kind of a deconstruction, really, of a lot of horror tropes, because I'm trying to explain why certain ghosts can't leave certain vestiges and why people are tied to things. And then they're similar to Solar Wind. There's just one reoccurring character who's just Mr. Exposition, but also one of the best characters in the story. So I'm not going to give too much away about this, but again, the problem is I'm a bit too creative, but I also have the ADHD, which is the problem with the sobriety break that I have. It makes me sleep a lot less when I'm sober, and I also think a lot more. And I'm making YouTube content and all this other things, but then I'm building things because I grew up with satellite television, DirecTV. I watched TV daily and read stories. And why am I trying to rap to this beat? My back of my mind is very musical as well. I grew up in a very, very musical church. I would say it's a cult. How long? I've been streaming for 25 minutes. I doubt anyone who knows me is on at this point. So yeah, it was a cult. Oh wow, very thematic. They worship the guy named Sweet Precious Daddy. What is not cult-like about that? It is the pure definition between religion and cult. It's a religion worships something unseen and spiritual or godly. And a cult worships something alive. The main distinction between the two. But moving on, back to the dark TV. I watched television. I remember pretty much every story I've ever seen. Ever. Maybe not the show title. Maybe not even the character names. But I remember the story. And as an insomniac, a lifelong insomniac, you have the privilege to watch shows from the past and the future. Especially in New Jersey, with DirecTV, you can watch the West Coast channels, so you never miss the show. If I miss something, it would just be on again in 3 hours, especially on DirecTV with Cartoon Network, Disney, or Nickelodeon, any of the American Big Three. But there's so many things online I haven't seen people talk about, like all those IFC shows. Like, how many videos are there truly about the whitest kid you know? That cured racism for me as a black kid in America. That, I don't know if that's a good joke, but I'm making it. It works with the show's title. The IFC, I don't know how it is now, but whew, the channel scarred me with one movie called Crash. Never forget it. I was way too young to see that movie. IFC, uncut always. Or they used to be. They had fire anime as well, like Toko, Hellgirl, Witchblade. But there's also all the childhood shows I've seen, you know, Arthur, the public television broadcasting network services, the PBSs, the CBSs, the Cliffords, the Sesames, the Big Red Dogs. Horrifying in real life. I have not seen the movie, but I saw the trailer, and I'm like, you guys are showing this thing way too much love. But I'm not a dog person. Well, it depends on the dog. I'm a bit speciesist. They lick their buttholes and then try to lick their face. I mean, your face. I'm not okay with that. You can be. And I don't want to hear shit about a dog's tongue is cleaner. Fuck that. People don't lick their ass. Or at least I don't see them do it. Moving on. Back to the facial details and the TV shows I remember fondly. Mainly Cartoon Network is the grand showcasing of things I remember that shaped my creativity and things I aspire to be. Because I definitely want to get a show on Adult Swim called Level Up 666, which is I don't want to give anything away on this stream about that. Just the title, Level Up 666. I think it fits alongside their, you know, Lucy, Daughter of the Devil, and even the newer things on FX. And the Phyyn collection is highly inspired by FX's Cake. FX is another channel. I mean, all the channels. I just binged channels. Not just the American Big Three. They were just great for cartoons. But like Saturdays, man, Sci-Fi Channel. Sci-Fi Channel had those movies, man. Those weird movies. Those movies about sharks. There's shark marathons. We go watch sharks fighting piranhas, sharks fighting octopuses, shark scientists turning their sons into a shark hammerhead monster, shark dinosaurs. Many shark scientists had problems in these things. Deep Blue Sea, even the bigger popular ones. Then we got next week going on to Lake Placid. We're gonna watch all the crocodiles. We're gonna watch Croczilla. We're gonna watch Dino Croc. Saturdays were granular. Because mornings, you watch a little bit of cartoons, then you go outside, and then you go back inside, and then you have fun on the telly. Or in your imagination land. I don't know. No one stayed up as late as me, so it always worked out in my favor. But what other animal movies did they have besides the Lake Placids and the Python? Oh yeah, snakes. There's a lot of snake movies too. Pythons, the Anaconda series. But there was also like some weird ones like Basilisk and like some really demonic snake creatures and snake god things. And also devil dogs, a lot of Cerberus movies and like Sabretooth movies. Woolly mammoth, just bringing back Ice Age creatures that wreak havoc on humanity. Nice things. I remember one specific movie that had an ending similar to Planet of the Apes, and they were like trapped in a completely different dinosaur world, already running away from a previously dinosaur infested world. This one just has different creatures. Man, those movies were great because they were so unpredictable, and the acting was not always bad. And even if it was bad, it was hilarious nonetheless. And I really love not being able to predict something. I crave that nowadays after seeing so much garbage. Oof. I have not scrolled down. I've just been ranting and playing with the pen in my hand. Circles, circles, circles. The key to drawing proportions, or just many of anything. You're gonna need construction art, especially as a beginner. You're never gonna be able to start out like just drawing things with a pen with no breakdown lines or sketching or anything. If you are, well, I am jealous, highly jealous. But as you see, I probably should not have used the Aaron Handsome Anson as a reference, because he does not look as handsome as the photoshopped image. I drew a lot of heads. I do recommend it. But the one thing I see people mess up a lot is ears, including myself. Only a few of these have the proper anatomy. When you're messing with cartoons and anime, you don't necessarily have to have the most atomically correct features, which is why I practice drawing a lot of them. To find the ones that I want to use specifically, I settled on something like this, comic booky but also kind of anime-ish. Now, I'm very particular about how I want my noses, even though I kind of referenced this off of something. I saw something, I was like, I like that. I'm gonna draw that. But I don't like that eye. I'm gonna change that eye. And now I make like the shadow line for the eyes and the nose now. But not for all the times. It depends on the angle. This was just a lot of practice for faces. A lot without reference. Some with reference. You could clearly probably see the ones that have reference. They look better. This one looks nothing like the guy I was referencing though, but I kind of like it. And this one looks like a goblin. I was also experimenting with different pens and pencils. Something essential for a digital artist to do is to check out all the tools at your disposal, not just a few, all. Over time, because you never know what may come in clutch, and you'll just be like, oh, I wish I discovered this before. Well, that's where experimentation comes in. As you see, a lot of these were drawn with different brushes, but you can only really tell if you zoom in, like, extremely. I think after a while, this guy posted something for a free brush, and I was all like, I like that. And so a lot of these have been outlined with that one. The free Mark Brunette brush for Clip Studio Paints. Ah, yes, I drew this because I was jealous of Colleen and her juiciness. I was all like, I get it. I get the appeal. I forgot who I drew this after. Oh yeah, someone from the Corridor crew, the Black Panther. I am horrible with names. This is just me trying to practice staying on model. Because, when you're making a story, staying on model is the most important thing. You don't want to go to the next panel and be like, who the fuck is this? And it's the same character from the last panel. No. I think that's actually it. Yeah. Well, just the latest sketches I did. Well, I mean, practice facial proportions. I guess I could talk about that a little bit. The main thing I learned about practicing drawing faces, especially from different angles, is the eye to air line. That is like very crucial to get. Sometimes from the frontal point of view, you can barely even see the ears. Like over here, you just slightly tag them on. It really depends on the width of that draw line and how you want to draw these specific people. Many people have the facial function of a god, like these people down here. But I got a little obsessed, I'm gonna be honest, and trying to get down the right like proportions, and my goal is to be able to sketch fast. So a lot of these are a little rough because there's no real final layer to them. This is all on one layer. Oh, yeah. And they're in different styles too. I forgot about that. This is my semi-realistic style. This is a style most closest to what I'm going to be using for betting on a new world. Color Wars is going to be more anime-ish, just because it's easier to stay on model if the features are simplified a little bit more. Also, comic books have a pretty simplified feature. Mostly they just choose the strongest of draw lines, and that's what you get. And drawing without reference, that's what you get too. I mean, a lot better now. These are all old. These are like when I was going to make betting on a new world without doing any extensive art practice, and I was just going to practice art while drawing and then drastically change the style as I progress. I was like, that's probably not the best way to go about this one story, especially if the environment and creatures play such a big part into the story. I would like to have them looking good from the get-go. And so there's a lot of old designs, but I'm also making, like, I said 2,500 as like a rough estimate, but that's a lie. That's a lie. The ballpark is more in like 3,000. Because I'm sketching like 10 a day, and there's still like over 300 days left of the year. So by that simple mathematics, you know, this one kind of looks like Billie Eilish because it was referenced. I was looking at the picture of her from the Pinterest, and I was all like, ah. I was trying to develop this Scarlet Jasper character to be a very likable character, but also Spanish. So I'm not sure why I chose that one particular person. Maybe they're pretty. That's what other reason is needed? Let's see. I forgot who I referenced for this person. Was it a singular person? I don't think so. Just put up a Pinterest board. And then there's this guy, who still is unnamed. For now. But that's it. That's all my stuff for now. This whole stream was just to procrastinate and show off my previous work. Because I haven't finished editing the video that was supposed to come out today.